It's Friday, July 10th. In the headlines, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Mediation Act could help curb domestic violence. In business news, Jamaica's cryptocurrency regulations to be formed. Regionally, Venezuela's earthquake health response shifting to recovery phase. And in sports, national champions headline Jamaica's Ed Murphy Classic squad. This is the weekend news on PBC Jamaica. I'm Simone Absalom Gale. Health and Wellness Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says the Ministry of Justice's proposed Mediation Act could help curb domestic violence and reduce pressure on the public health system by providing a mechanism to resolve conflicts before they escalate into injury and trauma. Making his contribution to Tuesday's debate on the bill in the House of Representatives, Dr. Tufton argued that Jamaica remains a high trauma society, with many injuries treated in accident and emergency departments stemming from violent behavior and between individuals.
So what may be a minor disagreement, whether it is over possession, intimate relationships generally, children, or otherwise, these unresolved disputes do escalate, and that's the history, unfortunately, of our community and our country.
Dr. Tufton pointed to data from the Jamaica Injury Surveillance System showing that 33,081 injuries were recorded in 2024, with nearly 7,000 linked to violence.
In 2024, just under 2,000 cases of violence against women were treated at a hospital somewhere in our country, or health center, meaning the attention that a doctor or nurse has to mete out, not to mention the pain and the suffering that those individuals, in this case our women, have to suffer.
He said for women that figure was about 74%. He noted data regarding the male victims as well.
The 2024 survey from the Jamaica Injury Surveillance System supports this fact. Some 2,593 violence-related injury among men, and almost 35% of that is represented through intimate partner relationships.
Dr. Tufton said the legislation supports community, family, and domestic mediation, which could complement existing health interventions, including the Problem Management Plus program that provides community-based mental health support for people dealing with violence, loss, and other adversity.
And so we have started to address that, and so we are interested to be supported by this bill to become legislation, because wherever there can be integration to support that, it would add critical value to managing cordial relations in the community between families or friends, as the case may be. And the bill, through Section 60, Clause 2 and Section 61, to promote that type of intervention.
Arrests made under the Crime Stop program increased by more than 38% in 2025. That data from the Planning Institute of Jamaica's Economic and Social Survey, Jamaica. The report says total arrests under the program rose to 76 last year, up from 55 in 2024, with rewards paid out climbing from $5.5 million to just over $10.3 million. The PIOJ says the results reflect continued public use of the program as a tool to support policing and citizen engagement, even as reporting levels and enforcement outcomes fluctuated. The survey also shows a decline in several major Category 1 crimes, by the end of 2025. Murders fell by 41% to 675, while shootings dropped by just over 30% to 696. Rape cases also declined by 26% to 325. However, aggravated assault rose by 41% to 465 cases, while robberies increased by 8.5% and break-ins went up 17%. Overall, 1,528 people were arrested for Category 1 crimes during the year, with murder and shooting offenses accounting for the largest share of arrests. St. Andrew recorded the highest number of arrests at 297, followed by St. Catherine with 197 and Kingston with 175. Jamaican youth took center stage at the recent 4-H symposium held under the theme Youth in Agriculture, Building Resilience and Food Security. The symposium was held at the Church of God of Prophecy, Spanish Town in St. Catherine, bringing together over 1,500 students and young farmers from all 14 parishes.
One of the things that is happening is that the farming population is aging and we need replacement.
Over 1,500 students and young farmers from all 14 parishes participated in the event, engaging in seminars, discussions, networking sessions, and displays of agricultural technology and innovation.
So with Jamaica 4-H Club, we saw that there is really a gap in the market. So pretty much what we decided to do is bring the organizations, the agricultural organization, to the students. So it's a big networking opportunity for them, learning opportunity, and capacity building for them overall.
Beyond farming techniques, there was also a strong push for young people to see agriculture as a business.
There is a lot of money in agriculture. The opportunities are endless, and it's a lucrative market that many are not really tapping into, but we're trying to show them the bright light to say that, this is the way, money is here, and you're your own boss when you're in the agricultural field.
One young farmer who began farming during the COVID-19 pandemic has since expanded into goat milk and meat production.
So the process of the goat milk is that, well, for now it's kind of a little stressful because I don't have a facility at home, so I have to be processing at the RADA facility. So in the morning we gather our buckets and get our milk, filter, freeze it, and then take it to the RADA facility.
Others displayed agricultural produce from the parish of Manchester.
We have a variety of crops including sweet corn, sweet potatoes, Irish potatoes, sweet potatoes, hot peppers, and also escalon and thyme.
Entrepreneurs also presented wellness-based agricultural products.
So we have like our turmeric powder, ginger powder, bay rum leaf powder that can all be used in the culinary space and as well as for your health. The 4-H has helped me a lot with my business in terms of networking, especially networking, because I'm here today, I'm really networking.
Participants say the symposium has been life-changing, especially in terms of exposure and networking opportunities. The timing of the Agricultural Youth Symposium sends a clear message. Even amidst challenges, Jamaica remains committed to investing in its young people.
People are of the view that purchasing a home at a young age is far from being possible. The National Housing Trust grants a loan of $9 million Jamaican dollars to those who have been contributing for a year or more. The question arises, renting or buying a home at a young age? What are the disadvantages and advantages that lies with both options? Chanel Matthews went into the streets and she filed this report.
What are the disadvantages and advantages with renting versus buying a home at a young age?
Well, buying a house, it's yours. The disadvantage now is that in Jamaica right now, poor people cannot buy a house. Renting, it is easier because once you can afford the rent, it's okay. The disadvantage is like sometimes the landlord, they don't live up to expectations, like doing repairs and things like that. That is the only drawback.
So most young people are not cultured to own a home at a young age. We're more interested in getting a car and just moving out and paying rent so we can have our independence. But if we were cultured and taught how to be truly financially independent, we will focus more on owning an asset. At home is an asset and is an investment. So those are the advantages. It's a legacy where you can have for yourself and leave for people. It's also where you can rent out and make money. A lot of people don't know that. The disadvantages is that it's very hard to attain living here. The NHT, that what it grants us is not enough. So it has to be a collaboration most times for you to even get a leeway into owning a home. Sometimes, again, it's location. Obviously, where you're located is very important. A lot of people follow where the money is, where you can get a job, where you can get better schools for your children and stuff like that. Sometimes the more affordable places are not the best places. And even though when places become affordable and you own it, after a while, our home is an investment forever. That community might become volatile, so it becomes disadvantageous.
All right, so with renting, it can be a bit tricky. First of all, it depends on the person's income. So with renting now, I'd say the advantage for that is, I guess you'll have options, and it will be probably be a bit more easier on the individual based on their income and their accessibility to what they can afford, opposed to buying a home for a young person. It's very difficult.
You see, the landlord them is not reasonable, some places, although, garrison and thing, it is very high. And next thing, we are showing NHT from a long time, and most of the people who show NHT a couple of years ago, we don't have a choice. With them, government not assisting us in getting a house or something like that, And rent is very expensive, so most of the people have to live in the slum right now. And the salary that we're getting right now is very low, cannot pay rent. So it's hard to cope, That's why Afretree and downtown is full of all these people on the sidewalk, theater, all people all around looking for somewhere to have a sleep, It is very tough out here. You need the government assistance.
There's no disadvantage to owning a home at a young age. There's no disadvantage of that because at the end of the day, if you own, you understand, you can use it. It's an asset. It doesn't have to be a liability. It depends on how you use it. You get what I say? So if you're in one position where you can own it and rent it out or sell it out or whatever, it's yours. So it's a major accomplishment. You understand? To own something like that in your early 20s, late 20s, early 30s. You get me? So there's no disadvantage to that.
Time now for the business report with Denise Williams.
Welcome to today's business report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing you the developments shaping markets, capital access, and business decision-making across Jamaica and the region. Let's get into the stories that matter. Friday, today, is the deadline for stakeholders and members of the public to submit their views on how cryptocurrencies and other virtual assets should be regulated in Jamaica. The deadline marks the end of a month-long consultation launched by the Financial Services Commission on June 10. Virtual assets are digital currencies that can be used for payments, trading, and investment. Unlike traditional currencies, they are not issued or controlled by central banks. The FSC estimates that Jamaica's virtual assets market is valued at about $2.1 billion. The consultation forms part of the government's effort to establish a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies, including digital assets such as Bitcoin. As part of the process, the FSC has proposed anti-money laundering, counter-terrorism financing, and counter-proliferation financing measures, along with the business conduct standards and licensing requirement for companies operating in the sector. President of the Global Services Association of Jamaica, GSAJ, Yoni Epstein, says boosting the competitiveness of the business process outsourcing sector will be his top priority. Speaking to RJR News, the ITEL chairman outlined 3 goals. First, he said the industry needs to better quantify its contribution to Jamaica's economy. He also noted that it generates approximately $900 million in foreign exchange annually. His second priority is to reverse the decline in employment, which has fallen from about 60,000 workers to 40,000 by improving productivity through the use of artificial intelligence. Epstein argued that AI is not the cause of job losses, but should instead be used to make workers more productive and the industry more competitive. His third priority is to encourage JAMPRO to increase its marketing of Jamaica's global services industry. For the trading period of July 10, 2026, the most actively traded securities were Trans-Jamaica Highway Limited with 2,638,599 units, or 15.26% of market sales activity. Grace Kennedy Limited with 2,214,798 units, representing 12.81% of market sales activity. Woodcats International Limited with 1,547,329 units, representing 8.95% of market sales activities. Investor activity remained concentrated in transportation and distribution plays, signaling continued interest in dividend-producing and strategic assets. Turning to the foreign exchange market based on Bank of Jamaica data for July 9, 2026, Forex traders recorded significant activity with strong demand across major currencies. For the US dollar, trading margins reflected steady liquidity, with the US selling at $159.76 and buying at $158.07. For the Canadian dollar, moderate gains supported by 61-cent transaction spreads. The Canadian dollar sold for $112.37 and was bought for $111.76. For the British pound, continued volatility offered short-term trading opportunities of $2.62 in profits for the banks. The British pound sold for $213.96 and was bought for $211.34. These movements underscore the importance of cash flow timing and currency awareness for businesses managing import costs, debt servicing, or overseas exposure. For our credit report tip of the day, the question is coming up: why are more working people struggling to maintain good credit? Well, there was a time when having a steady job was enough to keep your finances on track. Today, that's no longer guaranteed. Many people are working full-time, paying their bills, and doing everything right, yet they find themselves relying on credit cards and loans just to cover everyday expenses. The issue isn't always poor financial management. Often, it's a simple reality. The cost of living is rising faster than incomes. When this happens, credit becomes a bridge between paydays. Over time, that bridge becomes a burden. So what can you do? Well, you can treat your credit card as a payment tool, not an extension of your income. You can pay more than the minimum whenever possible. You can monitor your credit report for errors and signs of financial stress. You can review your monthly budget regularly to identify expenses that can be reduced. If you're struggling, speak with your lender before missing a payment. A credit score doesn't measure how hard you work. It measures how well you manage credit under pressure. And that's today's Business Report. I'm Denise Williams, bringing clarity to capital markets and strategy. Until next time, stay informed, stay intentional, and keep building forward. See you soon.
In regional news, 15 days after the earthquake struck Venezuela, the Pan American Health Organization says the emergency health response is moving into a new phase, focused on stabilization, continuity of care, and early recovery as trauma cases begin to level off. Speaking during a press briefing this week, PAHO's director, Dr. Jabas Babrusa, said urgent needs remain in affected communities, even as the initial surge of injuries eases.
The health emergency is far from being over. The response is now entering a new phase, which is equally critical and is focused on stabilization, continuity of care, and early recovery.
Venezuelan authorities reported that as of July 8, the earthquakes had claimed 3,811 lives and injured 16,740 people, while more than 6,400 others were rescued alive. 12 emergency medical teams are now operating in the hardest hit areas, providing emergency care, surgery, primary health care, and mental health services.
The priority now is not only to keep health facilities open, but to ensure safe and timely access to essential health services, including emergency care, trauma care, intensive care, diagnostic and imaging services, oxygen, essential medicines, and other critical services. Over 17,000 people are still displaced. Most of them are housed in 87 transitional camps. In these spaces, access to primary health care, safe water, sanitation, vaccination, and epidemiological surveillance activities will be essential to prevent new diseases or outbreaks of respiratory diseases, diarrheal diseases, and other diseases that may occur in such a situation.
PAHO is warning that hospitals continue to face significant challenges, including structural damage, reduced surgical and diagnostic capacity, and a growing backlog of operations. The Environmental Protection Agency and the Maritime Administration Department have reported a slight anomaly has been observed at Guyana's multi-million-dollar gas pipeline. This after the opposition had published claims that the pipeline was ruptured.
In a joint statement today, the EPA and MARAD said the slight anomaly, as they indicated it was detected during a joint assessment of the pipeline based on a report received. The two said out of an abundance of caution, further inspections are being conducted to confirm the continued integrity of the pipeline consistent with standard safety protocols. The disclosure came today amid damning allegations by the opposition leader that a gas pipeline key to the multi-billion-dollar gas-to-energy project was reportedly ruptured. The 12-inch pipeline, which was completed back in October of 2020, is expected to transport gas from the Liza oil field in the Stabroek block to the power plant and natural gas liquids plant at Wales. In a video posted on social media last evening, the opposition leader contended that the pipeline was damaged as he raised a number of questions.
Our sources confirmed that this pipeline has been ruptured for about 3 months. We have questions. Were there any gases flowing from the ExxonMobil run Stabroek blocks? If so, are we assessing its impact on the damage to marine life and the environment? How is this affecting the fisher folk or even human life?
With the multi-billion-dollar project being the largest in the country's history, Mr. Mohammed said citizens whose tax dollars are tied to the project deserve answers now.
Guyanese are not investing billions of US dollars in experiments. They are investing in the country's future. It doesn't matter which political party you are affiliated with. This is a matter of national concern. Therefore, you must ask the PPP about planning, supervision, and the management of a project that the government says will power Guyana's future. If a pipeline encounters this kind of problem before it is even commissioned, what assurance can the government give that it will operate safely and reliably once natural gas begins flowing?
But the EPA and MARID, in rejecting the allegations, said there is no factual basis to the claims by the opposition leader. They said the gas pipeline is not currently active and as such gas is not flowing through it. Against that backdrop, the authorities said there can be no leak or damage of the nature being suggested. However, the EPA and MARID clarified that since May of this year, the Stabroek Block operator ExxonMobil has been conducting a scheduled inspection of the subsea pipeline, an exercise expected to span approximately 3 months. They said the inspection program involves 5 vessels operating along the west coast of Demerara, adding that the activity was the subject of a public notice issued by MARID. The EPA and MARID said they remain committed to transparency and to safeguarding public and environmental safety throughout the gas energy project. The authorities have assured that they will continue to provide accurate and timely updates to the public.
In sports, we begin with athletics. The newly crowned national champions and world number 3 triple jumper, Jordan Scott, is among 20 Jamaicans set to compete at Friday's Ed Murphy Classic in Memphis, Tennessee. The World Athletics Continental Tour Silver Meet will feature national 400-meter champion Antonio Watson, 200 meters winner Christopher Taylor, and women's shot put champion Lodrika Cameron, along with Olympic discus gold medalist Roger Stoner and World Championships medalist Brian Lavelle. Watson and Taylor will be making their first appearances since the JAAA National Championships as they continue preparations for the Commonwealth Games later this month in Scotland. Watson will face a strong men's 400 meters field. France became the first team to book a place in the semi-finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup after a 2-0 win over Morocco in the quarterfinals on July 9. And Spain and Belgium are set to face off on July 10 after the second semi-final spot on that side of the bracket. The match will be held in Los Angeles, with the winner set to join France in the semi-finals on July 14. The remaining quarter-final matches are set for July 11, when Norway take on England and defending champions Argentina set to face Switzerland as the race for the World Cup title intensifies. And that's the weekend news on PBCJ. You can follow us on our social media platforms at PBCJamaica. Thanks for watching.